out.
His fuzzy head wobbles all around. Give him a shake, that's all it'll take. See what Jibber Jabber's got to say.
You don't say.
Yep.
Jibber Jabber knows every place.
It
If
out.
I you till you're blue in the face, shake him around, all around town, and hear him make a jibber jabbery sound.
It's a shame, innit? I mean, it's fine. Saints Row is fine. But as someone who loved the original series, fine is about as high as the praise can get for this reimagined take on the Saints Row franchise. At least that's what I can say when the game works. My time with this game has unfortunately been marked by too many blatant fuck-ups for me to ignore the fact that it is fucked up. We'll get to just how broken this game is in a moment. To give you a little idea of what this is, it's Saints Row again. That's what they should have called the game, Saints Row Again. It's essentially a reboot, which makes some creative sense when you consider how extreme the game got with its concepts by the end. The exaggerated cartoon nature of the series reached such a zenith that by the time of Saints Row 4, we're talking about computer simulations, superpowers, and alien invasions. Saints Row 4's expansion pack took us to literal hell. It's a little hard to top yourself after that, so the new Saints Row doesn't bother with the topping and takes us back to the bottom. The rebooted Saints Row takes us back to before the contraception of the Saints. Did I say contraception? Conception, that's the one. The protagonist, henceforth known as the Boss, is working for a private military company while hanging out with their 3 friends, who will eventually decide to ditch the straight and narrow, well, I say straight and narrow, they're already like killing and robbing, and decide to form their own criminal empire. The game's story is largely concerned with the genesis of the Saints and the friendship between the protagonists, leaving behind the fanciful and science fiction aspects of the later Saints Row games. I completely understand that and respect that. I do indeed appreciate taking Saints Row back to a simpler concept. The problem lies with the fact that in scaling back Saints Row's concepts, the reimagining adds nothing new, nothing invigorating, nothing exciting, nothing entertaining. It has indeed gone back to being a fairly rote by the numbers open world action game. It tries to be funny, it tries to be cute, it tries to recapture some of the magic of Saints Row, but fails in almost every aspect. In terms of aesthetic and bare bones gameplay, this is recognisably Saints Row, but without any of the bite, without any of the passion. It's Saints Row, but markedly less. I think you can scale Saints Row back from the extremes of escalation it reached, but you can't successfully do that by simply giving players less than they got with that escalation. Pretty much everything in the new Saints Row is boring compared to where the series was. So many of the side activities in the new Saints Row are repetitive, dull affairs. Go here and kill these guys, go there and kill those guys. Engage in endless fetch quests and scavenger hunts. Good God, the amount of fetch quests and scavenger hunts in this game. And the main missions don't fare much better either. Combat is rough and janky. The guns feature nice customization options, but are mostly boring. There are nice equipable cooldown abilities, such as the ability to heal when you deal damage or throw grenades, but some of those don't even work right. Hell, even the series' long-running side game, Insurance Fraud, has managed to become super tiresome, since it's the same thing we've seen in every game, with the added frustration of cars inevitably piling up in the crossroads and never fucking moving. The game has very nice colours, but graphically it's dated as all hell. The in-game radio sucks. I can certainly praise the game's character customization, hell, all of its customization. Whether it's guns, cars, or the boss themselves. You have dozens and dozens, hundreds maybe, of cosmetic options to add. You can tinker with the colours of all of it, and you find new clothing options on pretty much every street corner. Customization seems to be where this game's entire reserve of imagination went, because it's sure as shit not evident anywhere else. I mean, it certainly would have been nice if the developers could have imagined a game that wasn't broken and janky janky as all get fuck. Good God, how do I count the ways? This game is laden with more bugs than the average episode of Kitchen Nightmares. It ranges from small things, like wonky physics, to massive screw-ups like mission events not triggering, button inputs failing to recognise, guns that can't shoot, doors that won't open. More than once I've started a mission and just been unable to move. Just can't move. Can't shoot, can't equip, can't even fucking pause. I once ran out of time on a mission that wasn't fucking timed! And this didn't just happen a few times. Pretty much every single session I've had with Saints Row has brought with it some sort of incomprehensible, stupid glitch, bug, mistake. I'm playing it on PS5, which, incidentally, after an update now takes about 2 minutes to boot up. And it's been a technical fucking disaster. It's broken, is what it is. Now, I've had some people tell me that that's not been their experience, and you know what? Fine, that's not been their experience, but it sure as fuck has been mine. I just don't know when the game's gonna fuck me over next. The only thing that's certain is that it will, inevitably, because that's what this game does. If there's one thing it's good at, it's being fucking shit! And maybe if it was worth fighting through the bugs, maybe if there was the nucleus of a brilliant idea here, there'd be something nicer for me to say, but there isn't. So I won't. Because even when it's running at tip-top condition, and even if this game were as smooth as my beautiful, milky pale skin, it's still, at its heart, a basic, bare-bones, uninspired, open-world action game in a market laden with the things. After spending so long this year with a game like Elden Ring, something that shows us how rich and deep an open-world experience can be, it's hard to be expected to go to a game like Saints Row, which hasn't developed mechanically, structurally, or conceptually since the mid-2000s. There's going back to basics, which is what Saints Row wants to do, and there's being dated, which is what Saints Row is. It lacks the edge of Saints Row 2, the humour of Saints Row 3, and the out-and-out wackiness of Saints Row 4. It is simply a less good version of any of those games, a less good Saints Row. I'd say that, sadly, the rebooted Saints Row is more comparable to the original Saints Row, the first Saints Row, the completely forgettable Saints Row. The one that floundered without a strong established identity, while competing with, frankly, better games. Only this time, the better games include its own fucking predecessors. Saints Row is not a terrible video game, it's fine. Basic, dated, dull, but if you're absolutely desperate for Saints Row and don't want to replay the originals, then sure, get this one, I guess. At least when it's a lot cheaper. But even if you meet all those requirements for wanting to play this game, there's no forgiving how busted it is. How utterly broken. How lacking in recognisable 80s pop songs, the in-game radio is it so shit, it's bland, it's flavourless. And if I wanted to play a flavourless Saints Row, I'd get a physical copy of any other one of the games and lick the fucking disc.